we got a question. Crypto VC was saying, with so many people bearish now and the dollar index so high already, this seems like a decent time to accumulate to me. Thoughts. So I guess we could hit this from a couple of angles, right? We could look at Bitcoin. We could look at obviously the stock indices and individual stocks as an example. But, you know, to me, the way that I'm thinking of Bitcoin right now is because it's in lockstep with the NASDAQ right now so closely. I really have been looking at this week to see what the stock market's going to do. And we actually had the potential for an inverse head and shoulders last week, which got negated over the past several trading days as we made a new lower low. So, you know, it's always hard to time bottoms in Bitcoin when you don't have an aggressive rush for the exit panic washout, right? Those are my favorite times to buy, is when Bitcoin's 70 or 80% off of all-time highs, and then you get like a massive washout where everybody's just rage quitting and just, you know, running for the hills. That's typically where you get the most aggressive bounces. But right now, with stocks feeling so heavy, like, yeah, I agree. The narrative is there, right? We've got inflation. We've got, you know, on a fundamental level, we've got countries that are making Bitcoin legal tender, right? We've got just development left and right and all these positive moves. And the right thinking would be, or a rational person would say, well, why isn't Bitcoin's price going up? Well, there's not an immediate, you know, flow of like good news equals higher prices immediately, right? The markets need to coil up. They need to shake people out. It takes time to build momentum for the next explosive move. So when I look at Bitcoin right now, I'm still long, but am I aggressively buying right now? Not until I get confirmation that there's some kind of immediate bullishness, right? If we just take a look at the chart, you can see that, you know, we've basically been flat. Not only have we been consolidating since the beginning of the year, right around the 40K range, but when you zoom out even further, you know, we've been talking about this 45K price magnet that we've been in since the beginning of 2021. So the fact that price is even holding up here, I think is a solid thing. But I have a lot of dry powder and capital ready to go if we do get that washout. I still think we haven't hit like peak, you know, panic capitulation like we've seen in 2013 or 2015 or even 2018. So I'm waiting for either trend continuation where we can start buying dips and breakouts again, or a panic. Either way, I've got about a third of my portfolio ready to go for those opportunities.
Yeah. As far as DXY and Bitcoin are concerned, you know, they do have, you know, some negative correlation, but it's definitely not, you know, a one-to-one. But that is something to keep an eye on, though, as well. You know, DXY, it's basically, you know, the dollar mostly versus the euro and the yen. I think the euro, yen, and pound make up like 80 or 90% of the DXY basket. So it's basically dollar versus, you know, a basket of euros, yens, and pounds for the most part. And
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the euro and the yen, I mean, the yen in particular has been so weak against the dollar, but so is the euro because, you know, and this confuses people, right? People are like, why is the dollar strong with all this money printing we've been doing? Well, guess what? The US has been raising interest rates, which means now if you're buying government bonds or US assets, you're getting higher rates. And if you look over into what's happening in Japan, they've still got rates at 0 or 0.25%. And so that's why their currency is declining so rapidly. They're at a very inappropriate interest rate still. And you could argue the US is too, but at least the US is like at least moving towards the right direction. And same thing in the euro area as well. They're a little bit behind in the rate side as well because of what they're doing or what the energy crisis that they've got going on and everything is. They're like kind of stuck in this weird spot where they don't want to like kill their economy by raising rates too much, but they also know they need to tackle inflation. So the euro and the yen are moving more slowly even than the US in raising rates, and therefore the dollar's gaining against both of those. So that's kind of an oversimplification. Obviously, there's a lot of variables that can move currencies relative to one another. But yeah, I mean, dollar strong right now means that, you know, that could be putting some pressure on Bitcoin. And so, you know, if that flips, like if you get the dollar eventually weakening again, then maybe, you know, maybe that helps Bitcoin. But I don't see a one-to-one relationship when I look at that correlation, but I do see some negative correlations. So that would be one of those variables that could probably help Bitcoin in the right market, but you'd need other things as well to influence that.